Shortly after, I found myself taking a leisurely stroll through the town of Kyoto with him. Sakamoto, I think we should go back. I'll get in trouble later.
It's all good. We'll get in trouble together.
That's no better at all. Ugh.
They won't give you a hard time if you manage to get some useful information from me, yeah?
Well, that may be true, but that's not enough of a reason for me to leave the compounds without a word. Sakamoto laughed, his whole body shaking heavily.
You know, being angry kinda suits you. More than when you have that sad look on your face.
I felt my heart pound as his eyes thinned. Being told that I look better when I'm angry, and also you putting down my sad face, doesn't make me happier. I felt myself blushing and I looked away.
Looks like it, huh? Well, whatever face you have on, it's adorable.
Like I said! Whenever I spend time with Sakamoto, I find myself drawn into his wit and candor. There was no way I could keep my composure. Eventually, we passed by a shop which caught Sakamoto's eye.
Oh, it's a hairpin. Want me to get it for you?
No.
Don't be shy. I think it'll look good on you. See?
Sakamoto reached for a beautiful dragonfly hairpin and he placed it gently into my hair. I'm just imagining people watching this, because she's still dressed like a guy, and they're like, why is a guy putting a hairpin on another guy? Oh no.
Woohoo, looking good. Gotta say, I impressed myself with my taste.
His tendency to compliment me with his warm, charming voice never failed to make my heart skip a beat. Even if you bought it for me, I couldn't just bring it back into the compounds. Sakamoto stared deeply into my eyes, and I caught my own reflection from looking into his. And then...
Oh, right. Forcing a girl like you to wear a man's getup, keeping you chained like some bird. Those Shinsengumi boys are messed up.
He returned the hairpin to its original place, and we continued walking.
Hey, anywhere you want to go in particular? I mean, we're already out. Might as well see everything you wanna.
No, Stop worrying about me. How about you? Are you alright? I hear that many people are after you.
It'll be fine. After all, Japan needs me. I'm sure my country wouldn't let me go before I was needed.
You have no idea what you're saying! Ugh! Although I didn't agree totally with what he said. I was thinking about how he had survived back at the Tirada Inn. It did really seem like he was born for something special, possessing an extraordinary sense of luck that made him seem invincible. Maybe Sakamoto was rubbing off on me. Oh, he'd like to. It felt quite strange to think about him like this. After doing some sightseeing in Kyoto, we had made our way to the Kamo River for a break.
This ain't a bad-looking river, but I still prefer the ocean.
Have you ever lived near the ocean, Sakamoto?
Yup, born in Tosa. I almost want to say I spent more time swimming in the ocean than I did walking on land.
That can't be true, right? I heard you had siblings. What kind of people are they?
Huh. Lost my parents at a young age. So my older brother and sisters were like my folks, basically. My older sister's named Otome.
Really? Her name's Otome? That's amazing.
3 years older. Man, what a gal. She could read, write, fence, do it all. She taught me a lot.
Wow. Sakamoto continued to talk excitedly about his life in the Tosa and about his family. He looked as though he had so much fun telling me the stories. I really got the sense of how strongly he felt connected to his family and to his people. But you've left your domain, right? If you love your hometown that much, doesn't it hurt you to not return? As Sakamoto looked at me before responding, I could see the conflict resting in his heart through his eyes. Oh, pardon me. That's none of my business. I'm sorry. He quietly shifted his gaze towards the flow of the river.
Well, it's not like I hate the Tosa. They just have so many dumb rules.
Rules? Then he moved his line of sight towards the sky, as if counting himself with the rest of the stars in the middle of the day. Apparently there's a terminology.
I was born a country samurai. Tosa samurai fall into one of two categories: a country samurai or a high-ranking retainer.
Lower strata of the samurai class. In the Tosa domain, it points to the descendants of the Chosakabe clan before the Yamauchi clan governed. Okay.
If you're a country samurai, you can't wear socks. No matter how hard it rains, you can't wear shoes either, nor a parasol for the hotter days.
Why do they do that?
It's all because our ancestors were the enemies of the Tokugawa during the Battle of Sekigahara. So all because of my ancestors, who I've never even met, and who did stuff over 260 years ago, we're treated like nothing. What a damn shame, huh?
You have a point. I could only nod in response. Of course, if you challenge someone to war and lose, you're going to be punished accordingly, but after 260 years, where is the line drawn? Why continue to let people suffer? Is it really worth it to make descendants of your enemies, people who were years removed from being involved, suffer forever? I think in the past, you said something like how a Mori shogunate or Shimazu shogunate could do everything the Tokugawa can. Then what kind of world are you striving for, Sakamoto? His smile shaped into a stoic expression, and he gazed into my eyes.
I want to change the world. No more rotten samurai to prey on the weak. No more people taking advantage of the starving or the destitute.
In our government, it was customary for samurai of the shogunate's clan or the Hatamoto to promote and educate from within. There was no way people unfamiliar with the system could easily assume those positions. But Sakamoto spoke as if it could be easily done.
Isn't it all wrong? No matter how useless someone could be, if they were born into a good family, then their promotion is all but guaranteed. In America, a country located far beyond the seas, I hear that people can vote for who they think is fit to become lord of their country.
Vote? Who votes for them?
Warriors, farmers, civilians. They all got one bid each, and supposedly all you have to do is write down the name of the person they want to make their lord. And all of the chosen officials have this thing called a Congress, and they make decisions about their country after holding discussions.
All that he said was so different from Japan. I stood in awe hearing all of the things he said about how the West governs things, something beyond my imagination. Could you really do such a thing? In Japan?
We can. Westerners, Japanese, at the end of the day, we're all the same. Told you that before.
But Japan currently has all these predicaments. You know, like the shogunate, imperial court, feudal lords. I think it's good that they work as a group to make decisions and discuss issues, but could something like that really happen here? I don't know. However, Sakamoto seemed nonplussed about my question, and he responded with confidence.
It's not impossible. Just gotta do the same thing as Commodore Perry when he came here.
What did he mean? Using the black ships, or using weapons and threats to force people to listen?
The shogunate ain't dumb either. If they find out that the Satsuma and Choshu are gaining in power, they won't be able to ignore it. A weapon alone can't win a war, but it can be used to negotiate with your enemies. I don't want to start a war. I just want to get rid of the shogunate and create a world that is fair and just.
I didn't know how to respond, and I looked down. Sakamoto had claimed that he didn't want to start a war, but depending on how the shogunate responds to his actions, a war could just as easily erupt. But even if what Sakamoto aspires for comes into fruition, Could we really create a world where there's no such thing as a shogunate, or even the samurai? Just then. Oh, hello, sister brother.
Oh, there you are, Sakamoto. I was looking for you. You need to come back soon.
Oh, you're... Kaoru? You're Sakamoto's acquaintance?
Yes, we're both from Tosa. Well, yeah, that's all we got in common. Aw, that's all? How sad of you to say.
Sakamoto's dismissal of Kaoru made my stomach turn from the awkwardness of his response. He knows that he's a guy anyway. Have you put together that they're related yet? How could they be connected? I suppose it was really none of my business to ask, however.
Just to be clear, it's not what you think. She's kinda, detective or something.
I see. His reassurance made me feel a little more at ease. But I don't know why I had felt that way at all.
You know, seeing the two of you next to each other, you kinda look alike. In more ways than one.
Really? Okita had said something similar before as well. Do Kaoru and I really look alike?
So good with words, as always, Sakamoto. You keep saying all these things. Yukimura, I suggest you be careful. Sakamoto is a man of the sea. I hear he has women in various ports all over. I also hear that he's quite popular with the women of Gion as well.
Ah, thanks, bro. Oh, really?
Hey, come on, stop leading her on like that. I don't have time to woo women. Besides, girls at Gion, they're all paid to give me compliments.
Well, rumor has it that your popularity isn't just with the women. Ooh, how scandalous.
You're even kind to the Satsuma and Choshu, both of whom are enemies of the shogunate. You're known to be especially close to Takasugi from Choshu, who's known to be a ruffian.
A Choshu warrior who belonged to the Imperial Nationalist Party. He established new troops such as the Kiheitai? Maybe?
Don't you think that Yukimura here would find all of this hard to stomach? What with her association with the Shinsengumi and all? Well, she already knows that I've been connected to the Choshu. Doesn't come as a surprise to her, right?
Well, yes. Uh-oh, Kaoru's getting into it. He's like, I'm trying to get you both away from each other.
Oh yeah, come to think of it, didn't you run into some trouble with the Kishu domain and swindle them out of a large sum of money?
One of the three main branches of the Takagawa clan, the domain where the 14th shogun, Iemochi Takagawa, was born.
The Kishu Takagawa clan, who are one of the three big Takagawa clans, are quite angry with you.
One of the three big Takagawa clans?
Hey, they were having some boating problems. Didn't run into any trouble. I just accepted their apology money. Nothing illegal there. According to the rumors, you used the Tosa and sent a petition to the shogunate. That was you, right? Supposedly you wrote to the Lord Yoshinobu and suggested that he step down as shogun. Or something like that. Word is getting around and you are becoming quite unpopular around the shogunate. My, you sure are a courageous man. Ah, great detective work there. You sure dug up a lot.
If Sakamoto wasn't denying everything Kaoru said, then was everything she said true? I never really thought about it until now. Was Sakamoto really the illustrious man that I thought he was? Hi. Eventually, Kaoru asked a hushed question.
So, what do you think of Sakamoto?
I don't know. I think he's a good person deep down. Yeah. I think he's a good person deep down.
A good person?
Yes. His attitude and speech may be gruff, but he always looks out for me, and he does his best when I'm in need, and he cheers me up. He's a bold man, so sometimes he can get off on the wrong foot with people. But deep down, I think he's a good person. As I told her how I felt, Kairu sighed heavily, and she was annoyed by my response.
He's deceived you, Yukimura.
And he's happy about it, apparently.
She's just got some good insight. Wish he'd say good man rather than good person, though. Anyways, Yukimura, we'll be on our way now.
Oh, okay. Goodbye.
As much as I want to take you back to Nishihongwanji Temple, I don't think she'll let me.
Then Sakamoto shouted,
Oi! Whoever's keeping watch over there! I'm leaving it to you!
I knew Yamazaki would be nearby. In response, a rustle came from behind the embankment.
Alright, later, Chizuru. Don't know when I'll see you again, but take care, yeah?
Oh, okay. Hi? I nodded, and suddenly Sakamoto had placed his arm around my neck. Hey! What are you doing? Sakamoto! I panicked, pushing his arms away from me.
Be careful around her.
I looked in the direction to which his chin was pointing, and I saw Kairu. And then...
And... no matter what happens to the shogunate, don't be too hard on me, yeah?
You mean... I wanted to ask him to clarify what he'd meant by that, but Sakamoto took Kairu away and they left the Kamo River. What did he mean? Does it mean that war will come soon?
Yukimura, let's head back to the compounds. Yukimura?
Oh, sorry. I seem to have been caught in a daze.
Do you feel sick? Maybe we should rest.
No, I'm fine. Let's head back to the compounds.
Alright, then let's go.
Thanks anyway, Yamazaki. My heart was heavy with worry, and the ache lingered for a few moments longer. It wasn't something I could tell others, much less the warriors, though. So I spent the next few days in a deep reflection, and it was difficult to shake my concerns. We got some advance warning. Kairu. Huh. Maybe our sister-brother will be the antagonist, then. I'd be okay with that. We don't see him all that often, after all. Is it time for Sen's visit? Yep. Alright, well, we'll see what happens when the demons attack. I do have a question, though, because Sakamoto is not part of the Shinsengumi, so when she asks us about the boy situation, what do I say yes still? Oh. No. I say no. I was wondering about that. I'm like, he's not part of these guys, but I don't know if saying no takes us away from them. But I do have to say no. Alright. Well, we'll see how that plays out. That'll be a little bit different. I'll take some water while I wait for them to build up to that scene. Okay, we'll have a little bit of a different conversation. Am I gonna go with her then, or am I gonna explain? We'll find out. Out of curiosity, what is the question she asked before that? Yeah. Is it one of these gentlemen that you wish to stay for? Okay. No. No, it's not that. I'm confused. All this time, I thought I was human. My ability to heal had been a little strange, perhaps, but I never thought that meant I wasn't even human. Or perhaps I just never allowed myself to think that. To try and hide my condition made me lonely enough. If I had allowed myself to believe I wasn't human, then it would have driven me even further away. I understand, but now is not the time for that sort of angst, dear. You are a demon, and that is a fact neither you nor I can change. But none of this makes any sense. Not only am I a demon, but I'm the last survivor of some big demon clan? It's all just... Ah, I see. For a moment, she looked suddenly lonely. Well, if you do not wish to go, I cannot force you. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't trust you or anything, Sen. Could you just give me some time to think? I wanted to find my father and ask him if what she had told me was the truth. Maybe then I can accept the fact that I am a demon. Interesting. Okay. Slightly different conversation with Sen. We still don't leave with her. Alright, so it's time for the fight. What's happening to you this time, Shimada? We're gonna go find the others, so you're gonna get flung, unfortunately. Sorry, man. There he goes. And Cosmo's back in town. I assume, yes, you don't even know anything again. And then try to attack. I think that was to get points with Toshi? Pretty sure. Ouch. Yeah, there goes Toshi. Hey, he saved me. Thanks, man. Alright, so we get your picture this time around. And you guys showed up? I guess Sakamoto's not going to show up for this. Too much to hope for that, I suppose. Oh, right, and we have to move now. For a second I thought something new was happening. It seemed a little slow in the fading, but it didn't end up being anything. Alright. I think the next thing that happens is what would have been Sakamoto's assassination. And the fading seems to agree with me. Okay. Oh, what nice lighting and music. August 1867. 2 months had passed since the Shinsengumi moved their headquarters from the Nishihang Wanji Temple to Fidoto Village. Phew. I had finished cleaning and putting away the dishes from dinner, and I gave a small sigh. She's been working so hard this route.
Yukimura, I will complete whatever remains. Please go on ahead and rest.
Huh? But... I'm fine. The amount of plates has become way less than normal. I stopped myself. I'm sorry,
No, do not worry. It is true, the amount of men we have has gone way down. I am sure that Saito and Todo are working hard under Ito. We must work just as hard then, right?
I suppose.
Now, return to your room. A child should not be up at such a late hour.
I'm not a child anymore, Dad. But thank you. I'll take you up on your offer. I bowed to him and I left the common room. However, I just couldn't bring myself to return to my room so soon. I instinctively began heading towards the dojo. What's going on in the dojo? At night, the dojo had always been the emptiest room, which meant it was also the quietest one. During the days of our previous headquarters, I would often see Heisuke and Saito training in and around the dojo. Obviously, since coming here, I was unable to see them train with their wooden swords. To make matters worse, Okita had been feeling even more ill as of late, so it was a rare occurrence to see him train in the dojo as well. I knew that it couldn't be helped, but it was still saddening to never see people whom I'd become accustomed to seeing daily. Just then, I thought I'd heard something behind me, and I almost snapped my neck rushing to turn around. Is someone here? As far as I knew, Nagakura and Harada should have been drinking on their night out. Was someone breaking in? Suddenly, Someone had come from behind me, hugging me with his arms and pinning me down. Ah! Who is this? I tried screaming, but whoever it was covered my mouth with his hand, so I couldn't call for help. What was going on? How could a burglar have broken into the Shinsengumi compounds?
Don't scream. If you struggle, others will come running, and it'd be a bitch to deal with.
This voice. After I'd stopped rustling and making sounds, he had loosened his grip. I was just gonna say, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be being assassinated right now? Sakamoto! What are you doing here?
I had something to take care of. Came looking for something here, but this place is huge. Don't know where what is what.
What were you looking for?
You able to bring Kondo or Hijikata here? The others aren't good enough.
The two of them are still out of the compounds, and they haven't returned yet. I told him everything I knew, and Sakamoto furrowed his brows out of clear frustration.
Out, huh? Man, guess today isn't my day.
Why are you acting so recklessly? If other warriors would have found you, you would have been in so much trouble. Sakamoto was catching criticism lately for selling weapons to both the Satsuma and the Choshu. For the Shogunate and Shinsengumi, his affiliation essentially branded him as an enemy. For him to physically come into the Shinsengumi compounds must mean that what he wanted to discuss was of the utmost importance.
I told you, I was looking for something. Heard some suspicious rumors about the Shinsengumi.
Suspicious rumors? Sakamoto was locked in contemplation, but then he peeked up and answered.
Figured you had no idea. It's about these creatures called Furies.
What? How do you know about them, Sakamoto? Upon seeing my reaction, Sakamoto looked at me with shock, but eventually he gathered himself.
Why do you know about it? Well, you're Koto's daughter. Guess it's no real surprise that you know. Makes it easier for me, I guess. What's going on with the Furies or whatever? Answer me!
Sakamoto wasn't acting like his usual playful self, instead assuming an air of intimidation. What was going on here? How could Sakamoto have learned about the Furies?
Don't want to rough up a girl now. You answer me now, okay?
There's no way I could tell him. Even though it was Sakamoto, I couldn't reveal the truth about the Furies or the Water of Life. I don't know. I don't know anything. I couldn't take the pressure he had been putting me under, so I tried to make a run for it.
Wait!
He grabbed my shoulders to stop me. Just then...
My, we were certainly underestimated. I am quite sure that you are well aware of what becomes of spies who infiltrate the Shinsengumi compounds.
Sakamoto squinted upon hearing this voice as it interrupted us from the doorway. Before Sakamoto could assume his stance... Whoa! There was like 5 Sannans. Did anybody else see that, or was it just me? I knew it was going to be you, though. Oh. Sannan had appeared, roughly grabbing my arm and pulling me towards him forcefully. Oh, thank you, Sannan. He had adjusted his stance defensively, as if trying to protect me from Sakamoto. Sannan! I had called Sannan's name to stop him, but he was intently focused on Sakamoto, never breaking his gaze as he stared deeply into the intruder's eyes.
You were saying something about wanting to know more of the Furies, correct? If you would like me to give you a lesson, I would be thrilled by the prospect. First hand, that is.
His smirk was filled with confidence. In an instant. Wow, he just went for it. Take your hands off Chizuru, I guess. His hair flashed and became a ghostly white, and his irises turned into a deep crimson. Sakamoto didn't even flinch, seemingly enthralled by what was unfolding before him.
Step back, Yukimura. No matter what happens, I will not let you go.
Oh. I wondered what Sannan was thinking. Was he going to...
Are you having trouble hearing me? I said step back.
He was raising his voice and I stepped back. Uh-oh. Then Sannan raised both of his hands without holding anything in either hand.
Go ahead. Come at me.
Sakamoto's expression looked dubious. Or I could just shoot you. He whipped out his western pistol from under his kimono and he had pointed it towards Sannan. Then... Sannan! Before Sakamoto could pull the trigger, Sannan kicked the floor beneath him and charged towards Sakamoto like a rabid wolf.
What?
Humans were incapable of jumping with such power. To me, and maybe even Sakamoto, it was an awe-inspiring, if not frightening, display of power.
Shit!
Sakamoto shot his pistol as a reflex. Then, in the span of a moment, it looked as though Sannan's shadow flickered in the darkness. Then... the dull thud of the bullet hitting the wall behind Sannan was followed by the sight of smoke wisping from the fresh hole in the wall. Sannan had seen, in the blink of an eye... Alright, let's calm down and read this properly. Sannan had seen, in the blink of the eye, the path of the bullet as it flew rapidly towards him, and he somehow was able to move out of its way. There we go. Sakamoto dripped with cold sweat. His face was frozen out of shock. Then, Sannan grabbed Sakamoto's collar and he lifted him up with ease. Holy macaroni. Woo!
Let go of me!
Sakamoto was writhing in pain above, but Sannan didn't even lift his eyebrow in reaction. Not just eyebrows, but a singular eyebrow. Sakamoto had managed to wiggle his way out of many difficult situations in Kyoto. It wasn't an indication in the least bit of his prowess as a fighter, but... right now, Sakamoto was being thrown around by Sannan like a petulant child's ragdoll. Now, who am I supposed to be focusing on in this picture exactly? Because I'm kind of distracted by Sannan.
So, what do you think? Were you able to receive the information you so desired?
Yeah, more than enough. Sannan, was it? I lost, okay? So let me go.
His face was grimacing from the pain, yet he still snuck in a smirk as if attempting to humor his way to being let go. Sannan, on the other hand, had showed as much expression as a no mask.
Do you still wish to inquire more about us?
Yup. Gotta investigate you all.
Is it because you're hoping to gather some secrets from the Shinsengumi? How were you told of the Furies in the first place?
Well, if you can be patient, I'll let you know as soon as Kondo and Hijikata return.
Sakamoto was clearly at a disadvantage here. Depending on his choice of words, he could have been killed on the spot. But, surprisingly, Sakamoto still possessed his usual ambivalent and cocksure attitude. It was as though he were completely confident that there was nothing he could say or do that would actually get him killed. Then, seemingly out of nowhere... oh, they're back.
Sannan, what are you doing here? Huh? Hey, you're...
Oh, Toshi. You're that fucker Sakamoto! What the hell are you doing here? Sannan, who still looked completely stoic, answered.
Supposedly, he came here with the intention of learning more information about us. He is our guest tonight. Why don't we take good care of him?